Hey guys, Emily Muchanti here, and I have a video today for our reading interventionists. Today we are going to talk about my biggest pet peeves of new intervention programs. And this is going to fall into some pet peeves that involve administration and some that involve teachers themselves. So stick with me today to learn about some things and how we can actually fix some of these pet peeves. But first, make sure that you like, subscribe, click the little bell so that you are notified when I have a new video. And just so you know, I service so many different audiences. And so you might see a podcast pop up, the New Teacher Success Network podcast, which is really designed for new teachers and veteran teachers to give some tips and strategies to surviving their first few years. So choose what you want to watch. Keep an eye out on different playlists, but this one today is for reading intervention because it is just really on my mind today. So some of you are finishing up maybe your first year, second year as a new interventionist, and some things that you might already be finding are a little frustrating to yourself. They might be what I consider a big pet peeve. So let me tell you my first pet peeve for new intervention programs. And this one falls on the administrators and the district and the school in general. And that is unrealistic expectations. So this can hit kind of a number of different categories. First of all, to believe that one person, if you are a single lone soldier, servicing an entire span of grade levels, whether it's K2, 3, 5, all of them. But to think that one person can do all of the heavy lifting without a team, without support, and can fix our kids, right? Because that's what you hear a lot. They go to intervention to be fixed. That is going to create an optimal situation, because it doesn't. That is just an unrealistic expectation, which only puts pressure on you and the kids to work miracles. And in some cases, that just doesn't happen. Intervention takes time. We know that really strong intervention programs require about 2 to 3 years to really get into a groove so that kids can start to see some true change. And some of our kids that are most far behind require those years to catch up. So unrealistic expectations. Basically, when a district says, did the kids move? And you can sometimes go, well, yeah, but maybe not enough. That's an unrealistic expectation. So a couple of things that we can do to fix this, first of all, is you as an intervention teacher, ideally, should be the lead teacher in an intervention team. You need other people that are working with you so that you have a team approach to this. That means some really well-trained paras, maybe some additional part-time teachers, although that can be a little more expensive than really well-trained paras. So giving you a team, these expectations are just, they provide so much pressure, on you, and it's a little bit frustrating, right? My second big pet peeve, number 2, is a lack of a school-wide approach to intervention. Now, I hear all the time, tier 1 kids, tier 2 kids, tier 3 kids, as if those are separate locations, and it's kind of a mess, in my opinion. I think that a lot of people have a misunderstanding about what these tiers are. And so we need to have a school-wide approach to our literacy intervention. We don't necessarily need to change a curriculum from tier 2 to tier 3. We can change the intensity. We can change the pacing. We don't have to have certain things that fall into these particular tiers, because we can adjust what we have in order to best service the students. But that requires a school-wide approach. And so here you are as this lone soldier. You have, it's just you, right? no school-wide approach, which means there's a lack of teacher buy-in. There might be a lack of training for you, or a lack of opportunities for you to actually work with your teachers. That just doesn't work. You have to be seen as a teacher leader. You have to be seen as a leader in literacy in particular, with opportunities to work with your Tier 1 Gen Ed teachers. Now, we know that you cannot fill all of the gaps that are presented in Tier 1 instruction. So this school-wide approach means that everybody is accountable. Our Gen Ed teachers have to have really solid Tier 1 instruction. That should be with a really good evidence-based curriculum that in the early grades is really heavy in structured literacy. And if that's happening, that gives you the time and effort and focus to focus on the kids that need that extra dose. And that's really where it should be. So making sure that you are just a part of a school-wide approach. And so this pet peeve is districts sometimes don't get it. Leaders don't get it sometimes. If you want to make real change, it has to be seen as an entire school's accountability system, quite honestly. You cannot pull your intervention teachers for other roles and responsibilities or subbing when they should be intervening with kids. What are we thinking? That you can actually pull your teachers away and that kid is going to magically get caught up. Doesn't work that way. That also goes along with this whole idea that we can pull our most struggling kids out of Tier 1 instruction in order to provide Tier 2 or Tier 3 and expect them to catch up. You can't pull kids out of Tier 1 instruction and in fact expect them to catch up. They still need to be participating in that Tier 1 instruction. They are going to need a great deal of scaffolding. They are going to need a great deal of differentiation, but they have to still be there so that they're being exposed to those grade level standards, in my opinion. My third pet peeve for new intervention programs, again, this one falls on the leadership, is a lack of curriculum or an expectation that one curriculum is going to fix all the kids. This is crazy. This is nonsense. I talk to intervention teachers all over the country, and I am just flabbergasted that so many of them are like, yeah, no, I have nothing. They just tell me, just work with them. Like, just, work with them. Like that can work. So our administrators, our districts, our school boards need to realize that by golly, you need a curriculum, and not just one. You need a variety of curriculum that targets a variety of instructional needs that are geared toward those 5 pillars of reading, foundational reading instruction, your phonemic awareness, phonics, vocabulary, comprehension, and fluency. We have to have it. And you have to be able to pull from that to best meet the needs of your kids. So make sure that we can fix this by dedicating some funds and purchasing evidence-based curriculum that targets those 5 big areas. And then a well-trained teacher who knows how to match that student with appropriate curriculum based on the data. Now, my fourth, this was a big one. This is a big one because I always have to be careful because I get on a soapbox here and I don't want to offend anybody. However, maybe I should. My fourth big pet peeve in intervention is leveled guided reading. I said it, leveled guided reading. Yes, in my opinion, there is no place for leveled guided reading in intervention. First of all, most of our kids are already getting that in their classrooms. And there is so much evidence to suggest that that is just not effective, especially for our most struggling readers. So here's what we do. We have them in leveled reading their F&P levels. And I'm talking about, you know, I'm not talking small group instruction. So let's not get confused here. This is those levels. Like, I'm going to put my kids in level C, level D, level E, and they're going to come in and work on intervention after they've already done it in their classroom. So what we know is insanity. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Doesn't work. So we should not have leveled reading in intervention, nor should we have a new beefed up version like in the LLI kits. It just doesn't belong there. In my opinion, we have to have really skill-based targeted instruction that we can follow a gradual release of responsibility with our students, leading them in, especially in K2 or with kids that are still working in phonics, into some decodable text so that they can practice those skills, and then weaving in fluency practice through repeated reading that may not be decodable, but allows them to kind of practice and use some of those skills and develop some confidence. So I know it's a big one, and I know somebody's in there getting their feathers ruffled. I'm sorry, not sorry. I just don't think they belong. I don't think more level G gets a kid out of level G. That just doesn't. We have to figure out the why, and it just doesn't do that. So another big pet peeve of mine, and now I'm going to talk about a couple that actually fall on interventionists and teachers themselves. These are gen ed teacher pet peeves of mine too. And if you're in intervention, I really want you to think about this. My next one is winging it. Friends, we have to plan. We have to plan. We have to know what we're doing. We have to know what our objectives are. We have to have the data guide our instruction so that we know that what we're doing is working toward a goal. Too many teachers, gen ed, and maybe intervention, I think I see this more in gen ed from my own experience, wing it. You have to plan. We have to plan. We have to know what we're doing, at least on a week-to-week basis. Yes, we need to be responsive to student needs. And sometimes that means waiting for some information before we can really take a strong dial in. But we have to plan, and winging it is just ineffective. And honestly, it doesn't make you look very professional. So getting really good at planning your groups, if you are an intervention teacher, planning what each of those groups looks like. If you are a leader of a team of intervention, you are going to have to plan for your paras, and it takes some time. You can kind of release part of that as they get to become more trained, but we have to plan. Oh my gosh, we really do. And then my last one, there are others, but this is my last one today because you can tell I'm feeling a little ornery, I think. My last one, and I work with new teachers. I work with intervention teachers. I train, you know, I do all of this stuff. And one of the things, if I could magically wave a wand and fix this one thing, it would be this. Bruh, clip those consonants. Duh. And so I want to thank, oh my gosh, I want to thank Ruthie on Instagram. I am going to drop her link. She did this video, or did this t-shirt for me. I love it. And this is, let's see, I have to pull it up, you guys, but this is Ruthie from Crafting is Life at Instagram. If you want to follow her, she made this for me. I saw it on a post somewhere, and I just love it. Isn't that the cutest? We have to drop the schwas. Stop adding schwas at the end of your letter sounds. So clipping consonants is a huge pet peeve of mine. And I've decided Ruthie and I are gonna work together so I can be walking billboards for literacy instruction. I can see my camera's not focusing. Let me fix that. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna leave Ruthie's link in the show notes. Ruthie, thank you. I love my shirt. I can't wait to wear it to my conference that I'm going to be going to this summer. I am going to the Big Sky Literacy Summit in Big Sky, Montana. Cannot wait. It's my first conference live that I am going to attend since before COVID. So I'm super excited about that. If you go, please drop me a link. Let me go back to this schwa thing. Pet peeves. Okay. Sorry. I totally got off on a tangent there. We need to make sure that we are modeling correct letter sounds. And the schwa is the sound that you hear some novice teachers say when they're sounding out words. So the letter D might be duh, B, buh. We cannot add those schwas. Those are vowel sounds. And when you add an extra vowel sound to a letter, and then you expect kids to blend sounds when they're decoding, imagine the word flag, okay? And if we put schwas on it, fa-la-aga, fa-la-aga, fa-la-aga. What kind of kid is going to be able to pull the word out of fa-la-aga? So we have to be mindful of how we are pronouncing our letters, our letter sounds. So you can look for pronunciation guides on YouTube where you can actually see the placement of the tongue and the lips and everything so that you're saying them correctly. But bottom line is we want to clip our consonant sound so that there is no schwa, because it benefits our students when they're blending. That is really the big reason. Now, I do know that there are some regional dialect differences and what is correct for your area, I get, but it's going to make your kids a much smoother transition into blending if you drop the schwas, quite honestly. Pardon me. All right. So that is, I think those were 6. Those were 6 of my pet peeves for new intervention programs, new intervention teachers. And remember, every single one of these can be changed or can be improved. Some can be improved by you as an intervention teacher. Some can be improved by really advocating for your programs and approaching your school boards and approaching your leadership so that you can get some investment in your program, because we can do great things with great resources and great time and great learning, and those things can happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you like my shirt, this is Ruthie on Crafting is Life at Instagram. It's crafting_is_life at Instagram. And I'm going to drop her link on the show notes so that if you want to reach out, custom made, man. And if you come up with a cute one, let me know, because I'm looking for more conference wear to my Big Sky Literacy Summit, which I'm so excited. That's August 21, 22, and 23. I've heard it sells out pretty quickly. So if you're able to attend, if you're in that area, I would really like to hear from you. Maybe we could meet up or something. All right, my friends, listen, thank you for what you do. I know it is not easy, but continue to fight the good fight, and bye for now.